My name is John. I've always been shy around people and didn't have many friends. With my average appearance and no talent in sports, I was practically invisible in the classroom. Girls used to call me Donkey and made fun of me. But there was one thing I was good at. That is studying. Since I wasn't good at socializing and never went out, I would spend all my time at home studying at my desk. I love studying in silence, all by myself. Thanks to that, I got into one of the top all-boys high schools in the state and kept my grades in the top 10 during my time there. I smoothly got into a well-known state university. Having spent all my time studying, I did start to feel like I wanted to have some fun too. To break away from my dull life, I decided to get a makeover. Following tips from magazine articles on how to be a popular guy, I dyed my hair color and paid more attention to my clothes to create a more modern look. However, lacking communication skills, I still couldn't fit in at university and ended up leading a dull college life, just like in high school. But I never slacked off in my studies. Being a serious person, I attended all my classes, which made me quite popular with the professors. To ensure I wouldn't struggle with job hunting, I had already been asking professors for recommendations to good companies. Thanks to this, I landed a job offer from a major food manufacturer. My parents were thrilled about my job placement. The salary was decent, so I moved out of my small apartment and rented a slightly bigger one. I hoped that as a working adult, I'd make good friends, go out for drinks, and lead a fun life. Maybe I'd even meet a cute lady there. That was my naive hope. But reality isn't always that kind. Even after becoming a professional, my life remained dull. The job wasn't particularly fun, but not boring either. There were many colleagues who joined the company at the same time as me, but they were outgoing and had great communication skills. They are complete opposite of me. I didn't fit in and couldn't get close to them. I became more withdrawn and naturally had no luck in love, continually updating my record of age equals years without a girlfriend. Eventually, I resigned myself to a life of just going between home and work. In a way, it was a peaceful life. But then, at 30, I was suddenly transferred to the sales department, starting a hellish daily routine. I had always worked in the product department, mainly handling orders. The work was mostly solitary, and I only occasionally talked to suppliers. It was the perfect department for someone not good at communication. This sudden move to sales was a shock to me and probably to my colleagues as well. I guess they were short-staffed. But still, it was clear to everyone that I was the wrong choice for this department. The sales department was full of bright, communicative employees, and I couldn't fit in or adapt to the work. The workload was enormous, from client development, negotiations, and creating proposals, quotes, etc. I had to do it all. I was not a good talker in the first place, so it was causing me considerable difficulty to get one contract. My sales performance remained at the bottom. I was constantly pushed to do menial tasks by my boss and colleagues. I didn't want to do these tasks, but with comments like "still at the bottom this month, you're not contributing much, so you should at least do this," I couldn't refuse. It was clear they looked down on me. Female employees said things like I definitely wouldn't want to marry a guy as dull as John. While my colleagues slowly got promotions and advanced, I remained a mere employee. Just the typical single, uninteresting guy you find in every company. Oh well, I guess I'll just keep falling behind the younger folks and be left out. Well, it's fine, I guess. After lunch break that day, my boss, Tom, suddenly called me in to ask for a favor. Ken, one of our employees, made a promise to a client that he can't keep. We won't be able to meet the delivery deadline. It's too late to tell the client that now. They really need it by that date. The mistake Ken made was big enough to risk losing the client. Ken is the son of the department head. What if he gets fired over this? But you, being new to the department, might be let off with a warning. They'll probably just transfer you. You don't have a family, so a little pay cut wouldn't hurt. So please, can you take the fall for this? I intended to refuse and argued back. But Tom got angry and yelled, "Don't you realize you're a burden? Why don't you show some results?" Hearing those words, I felt something inside me break. I didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted to leave this company right away. Tears started to flow naturally. I guess I had reached my limit. Later, the executive Max called me in and said, "If you have no motivation, you might as well quit." I just replied, "Yes." It felt like Tom had forced me into resigning. Exhausted, I found myself calling my mom. She said, "Oh dear, you've had a tough time. Good job hanging in there. Why don't you come back home and rest for a while?" So, I went back to live with my mom. I had left this town because I disliked the countryside, but Mom knew that and didn't stop me when I wanted to move to the city. Our family ran a small deli. When I got home, my mom greeted me with a kind smile, saying, "Welcome back," and offered me some special chicken wings she had made for the shop. I teared up eating her cooking after so long. "Tommy," she said, "you don't have to push yourself anymore." Maybe it was the stress from the unfamiliar job, but I wasn't feeling well, so I rested at home for a while. Eventually, I started helping out with the deli. The customers were nice, praising my mom's dishes as exquisitely comforting. I felt much more at peace in this environment. About a year after returning home, I noticed a woman at the bus stop while coming back from shopping. It started raining suddenly, and she looked troubled, checking the bus schedule. Approaching her, I asked, "Is something wrong?" I wouldn't normally talk to a stranger, but I couldn't ignore her that day. "The bus is late," she said. Checking the schedule, I saw that the bus should have arrived 30 minutes ago. "It must be running late." "What a delay," I said. The rain was getting heavier, and there were no stores nearby to buy an umbrella. The bus showed no signs of coming anytime soon. "If we stay out here, we'll be completely drenched. Would you like to come to my place for a while? My mom's there, so it won't just be the two of us." "Don't worry, it's a walking distance from here," I suggested. Initially hesitant, she finally agreed as the rain worsened, saying, "Thank you, I'll take you up on that offer." That day turned out to be a major downpour, flooding roads and causing significant damage. She couldn't go back home for a while. My mom warmly welcomed this stranger into our home. Seeing my mom's friendly nature, the woman seemed relieved. Her name was Ava. She was 3 years younger than me. Her father ran a bridal company, and she worked there too. She came to our town to inspect a new wedding venue. I hadn't noticed it outside, but Ava was very beautiful. Yet, there was a hint of sadness in her demeanor. I wondered if she had any big worries. Ava was very delicate. Her face looked a bit worn out. My mom served her our proudly made deli dishes. "We only have this, but please have them if you'd like." "Thank you." She thanked us in a soft voice, and when she tasted the food, Ava said, "I've never had something this delicious," and her face lit up with a smile. Seeing Ava smile for the first time made me feel a little excited. I hadn't really talked to women before, but I felt like maybe I could get along with Ava. When I gathered the courage to talk to her, she responded kindly, even to someone like me. It turned out she was under a lot of pressure at work. Ava was the daughter of the company president, which made her stand out at the office. However, some colleagues resented her, always challenging her. She tried to work sincerely, but there were many who badmouthed her, saying she was arrogant just because she was the president's daughter. Ava worked hard to gain their recognition. but it seemed like she pushed herself too much. Oh dear, that must have been tough. It's important to relax sometimes. Life is long. You can relax here. I think you've done a great job, my mom said. Thank you, it's nice to be praised. It's been a while, Ava replied with a beaming smile. In the end, Ava stayed at our house for about a week. She happened to be on vacation, so the timing worked out well. She got along well with my mom, chatting and even helping out at the deli. For me, it was a fulfilling time. Ava seemed brighter than when she arrived. As she was leaving, my mom joked, "If you're tired, you're welcome to come back for more girl talk." Ava replied with a smile, "Then I might just take you up on that." I said, "Please take care of yourself and don't push too hard." Ava then boarded the bus. I thought this might be the last time I would see her. Feeling that, I couldn't help but feel a little sad. Life continued as usual, helping out at the family deli. Then, one day, an invitation to a wedding arrived at our home. It was from Troy, a classmate from middle school. I remember talking to him at the supermarket recently, where he mentioned, "I'm getting married. You should come to the wedding. Meeting here must be fate." Honestly, I never liked Troy much. He used to mock me for being a bookworm during our school days. I thought about making up an excuse to skip it, but then Troy called. "You must be free, so you better come to the wedding." Yeah. Unable to refuse, I ended up agreeing to attend. And then came the day of the wedding. At the venue, there were many classmates. Most of them didn't seem to recognize me. They whispered and looked my way. Then Troy approached, recognized me, and called out, "Hey, there you are, Donkey." At the mention of my nickname Donkey, my classmates realized who I was. One of them asked, "What are you doing now?" Before I could answer, Troy mocked. He was good in school, but now he's just selling deli with his mom. How the mighty have fallen. Seriously, even with a good college degree, running a deli, you'll probably stay single forever. The others chimed in with their own harsh words. I just forced a smile, knowing it was true. Suddenly, everyone's gaze shifted behind me. "Don't mock my boyfriend, please." To my surprise, Ava, dressed in a suit, stood behind me. "Do you guys not feel ashamed talking like that as adults? John, you don't need to be here. Let's go," she said. Ava pulled me by the hand and led me out of the venue. Once outside, she looked startled and said, "I'm sorry if I did too much, but I just couldn't stand seeing you being made fun of." "No, don't worry about it. I'm actually glad. But why are you here?" It turned out this venue was one of the ones her father managed, and she was there for work. "Would you like to have dinner with me after I finish work?" she offered. I immediately said of course. I was thrilled to see her again, never expecting our paths to cross. We didn't return to the wedding but went to dinner together instead. "I was actually hoping to see you again, but meeting here at the wedding venue, maybe it's fate." To her joking tone, I replied seriously. "Maybe it is fate. Maybe we both wanted to see each other, and fate brought us together." At the time, such words came out easily, which was unusual. Ava blushed and asked, "John, did you really want to see me too?" I decided to be honest about my feelings. I told her how I felt something special for her, unlike anyone else, and that I'd been thinking about her ever since. "I've been thinking about you too. When you praised me for my hard work, it really lifted my spirits. Your words are so warm. I think I like you, John." Blushing, she shared her feelings. From then on, we started a long-distance relationship. Soon after, Ava was assigned to work primarily at the venue we had visited, and it was decided she would move to this area. This led us to start living together, even though we hadn't been dating for very long. Realizing I shouldn't rely on her alone, I found a job at a local company and returned to the workforce. Today, I'm at my mom's house, watching her and my girlfriend chatting happily. Seeing their smiles fills me with happiness. For the first time in my life, I have a girlfriend and a supportive mother. I want to work hard for them and walk this path of life together.